welcome to the program Talk Sports on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. Many thanks for joining on today's edition of Talk Sports. Exciting news, Galatasaray now back in conversation and hopefully in the final stage to complete the transfer move of former African Player of the Year, Victor Osimhen's permanent deal move to Galatasaray. That is almost done amidst a whole lot of controversies. Even one of Nigeria's top strikers gave his own 2 cents of advice to Victor Osimhen. Talking about Ighodalo, Odion Ighodalo says Victor Osimhen can just move to Saudi Pro League, play for 2 years, make money, and then come back to European League, just like what he did during his own time. You know, he went to China, played, went to Saudi Arabia, played, and then came back to Manchester United at 30 to continue playing, and then he obviously made a whole lot of money based on the African mentality, you know, that individuals, you have to take care of your family. And according to Odion Ighodalo, he says, a man's money, like my money, is our money. That's in the African mindset. So he said Victor Osimhen has a whole lot that he would need to do, and he should try and, you know, take that route based on the fact that he is still young. So if he goes to Saudi Pro League at 26, play for 2 years, he'll be 28, and then he can still come and conquer Europe. So let's see how all of that will pan out. That's if the deal with Galatasaray don't work. What next with Victor Osimhen do, as the transfer window is speedily and sharply coming to a close? So aside that, Victor Osimhen, still Ademola Lookman and Inter Milan are still in talks, as the director of Inter Milan says Ademola Lookman should be in Inter Milan, and Thuram, who is the current striker, is not up for sale. So they want to have a killer attacking force come 2025-2026 season. That's if they finally find a way to get to land Ademola Lookman into the squad. So moving away from transfers, let's start talking about African Junior Championship medal wins. Sterling Nwachukwu and Caleb, Nigerians Chioma Nwachukwu and John Caleb have experienced their delight after earning podium finishes at the ongoing CAA African Under-18 and Under-20 Athletic Championship in Abeokuta, Nigeria. Nwachukwu claimed Nigeria's first gold medal on day 3 of the competition, dominating the Under-18 women's 400 meters final in an emphatic fashion. The teenage sprinter stormed to victory in 52.47 seconds, finishing nearly 2 seconds ahead of her nearest rival, half-shot Mojudumi, who clocked a personal best of 54.43 seconds to win silver for another Nigerian, with 1-2 finishes. Speaking at her win, Nwachukwu said her approach was to focus on her own rhythm and not be distracted by competitors around her. Despite the ease with which she won, Nwachukwu said she had been cautious not to expand all her energy, especially with possibilities of racing in the 200 meters later in the championship. So this lady is the future, basically the future of sprinting in Nigeria. It's in good hands. I can say that over and over again. With this result, 2 Nigerians, you know, beating each other. Nwachukwu beating Ofishola with just 2 seconds to, you know, clinch the silver medal, and Nwachukwu clinching the win and winning the gold medal. Looking at this trajectory now, it shows that obviously grassroots sports development is on its peak, and we are very excited to be seeing high level and this tenacity of competition within the young lads, and then automatically it shows the future is very clean for Nigerian sprinters. Favour Ofile is still doing us proud, and Toby Amosun still doing us proud. So these individuals, at the time they get to the level of competing in the Olympics and all, world records will be set, just like their compatriots are doing. That's talking about Favour Ofile and Toby Amosun. Moving on, Falcons trash Queens to reach semi-finals. The Super Falcons trash Zambia 5 goals to nil to storm into the semi-finals of Women's African Cup of All Nations with a commanding performance that served notice to the unrest of the field at the Labia Zulu Stadium in Casablanca on Friday. Goals from Osinachi Ohaile, Esther Okoronkwo, Chinwendu Izuha, Oluwatosin Damihin, and Folashade Ijusilum capped a dominating display from the 9-time champions who maintained their record of reaching the semi-finals of every WAFCON finals played. It was sweet revenge for Nigerians who were beaten 1 goal to nil by Zambia in the bronze medal match 3 years ago, having lost their semi-final to South Africa. The comprehensive victory also exalts the demons of a disappointing group stage campaign that had raised question about their candidates. The Falcons were virtual out of sight by halftime as they led 3-0 following a blistering opening period that they left the pre-tournament favorite still in a whole lot of shock. So looking at this now, earlier, a couple of days before now, we saw players from the Zambian squad saying they are not scared of the Super Falcons, and we saw last weekend when Justin, that's talking about the head coach of the Super Falcons, resting a couple of players during the final group stage match against Algeria, that the Super Falcons settled for a goalless draw. A whole lot of pundits frowned at that play, frowned at that strategy. But now, what is the end goal? The end goal is to make some of these players rest so as they will be very fit ahead of the Zambian game, because they wouldn't want what happened 3 years ago to repeat itself. And the Super Falcons made sure that did not happen by defeating them 5 goals to nil. And they started scoring pretty early. In the first 3 minutes, the Super Falcons found the back of the net with a swift and a very excellent header into the far left corner of the post, and the Zambian goalkeeper had nothing, absolutely nothing to do to stop that ball from getting into the goal post. So the trajectory continued like that, and they kept finding opportunities, creating opportunities for them to score. Earlier on, we had conversation during the qualifiers, and also when they were training, that's talking about the Super Falcons, to advance for this competition. They had lots of concerns in the front of goal. They will create chances, but they'll find it hard to score. But now, throughout this season, these individuals, these ladies haven't considered even a goal. So now we are seeing how excellent they are, and they will be hoping that this trajectory continues like this as they get set for the final stage, this next stage of the semi-finals, where they'll be taking on South Africa. So we'll see how all of that will pan out. This was the first league game that was played, the quarterfinal games that was played, and also we saw Morocco defeating Mali 3 goals to 1 in also the quarterfinal stages. So all of these individuals have advanced into the semi-finals. Then we'll see what the next leg will be for them. So still talking about women's football, Women's Euro 2025, Spain beat Switzerland 2 goals to nil to reach semi-finals. Spain reached the semi-finals of Women's Euro 2025 on Friday after battling past Switzerland in a 2-0 victory as the world champions continue their bid for a 5-year European crown. Tena Del Castillo and Gordon Payne scored the goals in the second half in Brain to give Lajo deserved passage to the last four, where they will face either France or Germany on Wednesday. But Montez Tomstein didn't have it all their own way as host Switzerland put up a brave fight in front of passionate crowd at the Watford Stadium. The Swedes survived an early scar when Marina cadently shot wide a 90-minute penalty, and did a great job in gumming up the Spanish, usually free fouling in football. So we saw a whole lot of interesting matchups there, and these individuals continued like this. Now let's talk basketball quickly. We saw the FIBA Under-19 ladies, that's talking about the Junior, the Tigress, as they edge against Hungary in a game very closely contested, but the Under-19 Junior, the Tigress, were very, very patient, and then they finally found their rhythm as they beat Hungary 68-58, giving them a 10-point gap. So this may have helped them finish in the round of 6 and 16. So they would, be qualifying for the next year's tournament. So we'll be bringing you lots of highlights from the games that were played yesterday. We'll bring you highlights from the FIBA basketball championship between Hungary and the Junior, the Tigress Under-19. We'll also bring you highlights from NBA Summer League as Nuggets and Lakers traded serious tackle, and Bronny James is looking good for his second year. Something very shocking is still ongoing in the NBA as it stands currently. LeBron James is looking to be traded. He might be going to Cleveland or Dallas, that's Maverick Dallas. But looking at it now, Stephen Curry is also finding a way how he can get Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo into the white and gold uniform, which is going to be a very big problem if those two individuals set a pick and roll. It's going to be a whole lot of exciting matchup to see. So we'll see how all of this pans out, but still Bronny James is not even bothered, or he's not even concerned. According to him, he said he doesn't pay attention. In his words, I don't pay attention to stuff like that. What stuff exactly? The fact that rumors are going around that his dad, LeBron James, might be traded to Cleveland, and he said he would be happy for wherever his teammates, now he's not calling him that, he said he will be happy wherever his teammates take his next career to. So we'll see how all of that pans out, but for now we would love to leave you with the highlights between the Super Falcons of Nigeria and Zimbabweans in the quarterfinal clash that they had just yesterday, and the trajectory follows like that. We'll bring you lots of highlights, and this is me saying goodbye. Bye for now.